even when you lost. There's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello and welcome back, all you BSL fans, to the BSL Losers Finals bracket here. I am Machine, and joining with me today as my co-commentator is Mr. MadiNho. How you doing, MadiNho?
Machine, I'm doing great. I'm super looking forward to these games, casting with you. It's been not that too long ago since we casted, and I know we have been like a popular duo, and we have been raising
The most
money.
popular duo.
Yeah, I see the crowd have been raising money to afford us again. So finally, we reached that level, and we are back here.
Yeah, glad to be back by your side, man. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. I think we picked a good match to make our return debut in, because it's Dewalt facing off against eOnzErG. I mean, I know you know so much about both these players. Let me pick your brain here for a second. Give me your thoughts. How do you think this one's gonna go?
Yeah, if you look back at the games yesterday, Dewalt kind of struggled against Terror, which I usually think is his best matchup, the PvT, but he's been super strong versus Zerg, and I also think eOnzErG's CVP has been super strong lately, especially in this series of BSL. But when you're up against like a demigod in the face of Bonnet, you kind of have to pull out every spell you can do. And eOnzErG looked a little bit frustrated at the end of this game, and I was trolling a little bit around on ladder playing Pradas, and I had the pleasure of facing eOnzErG right after that series versus Bonnet, and I felt his wrath. It was not funny to be.
Really?
Yeah, it was not funny to be at the end of that. He absolutely demolished me, and if eOnzErG can take down my Pradas, he can definitely take on Dewalt.
Yeah, I mean, very, very fair. We all know how strong MadiNho's Protoss is. I mean, you've basically just been holding out until you wanted to decide to win a season of BSL with your Protoss. So we'll have to stay tuned for that one. But
I'm trying to copy my player's image today, but it seems like I'm a little less hornier from that moment.
Yeah, you do seem a little less horny this time. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now they're popping in there.
The green screen doesn't want to show it, and somehow, I don't know if it's my camera or if it's a production error, but it seems like I'm a little bit blurry lastly.
Yeah, just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I want to echo those thoughts. Dewalt Terror was one heck of a series yesterday. I mean, I cannot believe that, again, Terror ended up drawing that out to a final game versus Dewalt in his best matchup, as you'd state. Like, I think if you asked Dewalt point blank what his best matchup is, he would absolutely say PvT. But yeah, we again get to see the return of eOnzErG. Despite, he has his thoughts and complaints about the ZVP matchup, I think he is a monster Zerg ZVP. One of the best, especially in late game Zerg vs Protoss scenarios here. He really has it all. And as you can see, folks, these are the map picks for each of our players here. Yeah, Jane Doe going to be a first pick here from eOnzErG. I love to see it, MadiNho. You know how much I love these, the newer maps here. So one heck of a map to get started off here in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see Dragon's Lair being banned here from Dewalt, and I can imagine that's because eOnzErG has been showing such great games on Dragon's Lair. He's definitely been working on his strategy there, and it seems like it's pretty hard for Protoss to go to the late game where there's so many bases for the Zerg to turtle up with lots of Sunkens and a great Sim City. So kind of interesting pick as well from eOnzErG here. We have seen a lot of games CVP on Jane Doe where the Zerg tried to bust, and we kind of saw a attempt on the 4th game yesterday versus Bonnet, where Bonnet absolutely made like 3 cannons and pulled every probe he had and held it with ease. So I hope we'll see a more planned strategy from eOnzErG in the opening game.
Yeah, now that eOnzErG's really had a day to kind of reflect on that series, I would assume we're going to see, an evolved version of eOnzErG going in to face Dewalt. And I mean, fair enough to also mention, Dewalt and Bonnet are not the same player. They have, their own tendencies, their own strengths, their own styles. So, just because of, the results between Bonnet eOnzErG, you cannot count eOnzErG out against Dewalt.
I also think Bonnet's style is kind of a mismatch for eOnzErG's style. Like, eOnzErG is the macro Zerg, and Bonnet is so aggressive. I don't really see Dewalt going like 9 gate that early up with the cell of pressure. But we will see that opener here on Jane Doe, definitely with the fast Nexus behind it. But I don't think we'll see an early pressure here. Maybe eOnzErG will pull out like a strategy that Queen did in ASL. That would be super interesting to see.
I know the one with the proxied hatchery at 6 o'clock, and I ended up doing like the Ling Lurker timing. That was pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie. I had kind of was thinking the same thing at the back of my mind, and again, that's because of eOnzErG is that type of Zerg that he has every capability. He's almost like the terror of Zerg, right? Like, he can do it all. As you said, like, incredible macro, but not afraid to take risks here and there. But yeah, it looks like both of our players are ready to go here, MadiNho. Map 1 going to be Jane Doe. Let's jump into the match. And
okay, you can go first. You go first.
Okay, and spawning right side of Jane Doe as the red Zerg, it is eOnzErG.
And all the way on the left side of the map, we have Dewalt, the Russian Bonja.
Yeah, man, the Russian Bonjour. This guy has been incredible. I'd really love to see him even just like take an attempt at an ASL qualifier at this point. He's really at that capability, that level. Yeah, he's it's silly to say that we're kind of not expecting to see him in a losers finals because it's so odd to ever see him lose a match at this point.
Yeah, mentioning that when he faced off against Bonnet, but most likely a preview of the grand final that will most likely. I'm not saying he will win here, but I wouldn't be surprised. But a part of me is cheering for eOnzErG. He's definitely been working a lot of his games, and he plays a lot, he streams a lot, and he puts up a lot of content on YouTube, and so does Dewalt, and he's had several trips to Korea. So if someone is supposed to take down Bonnet, it's probably going to be Dewalt.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, if anyone has the capability, it's got to be Dewalt here. A little bit of skirmishing on this ramp between eOnzErG and Dewalt with the drone and the probe. I like to see it. This is something you really see at the highest levels here. eOnzErG did go for a little.
Sorry, a cute little trick here from eOnzErG that he has his drone on hold, so he doesn't have to babysit it. He just clicks with the old lord and hold on the drone in a perfect position. So Dewalt is having a hard time getting up here.
Yeah, and if you're Dewalt, I mean, you really want to confirm everything versus a player like eOnzErG. I mean, this could very well be a 9-pool speed, and he's just, banking Zerglings inside the main at this point. eOnzErG is really the kind of Zerg to do something like that. So without this vision, Dewalt's really going to need to kind of care here early on.
Yeah, he spots the early sellout here, and Dewalt still doesn't know what is up, but the Zerglings would have been out if this would have been an overpool. But it's super fast gas here, but it seems like eOnzErG is interested to take his third. I was thinking he might go 2 base mutas, but...
Yeah, probably for the best. I mean, whenever you have access to, such an early third, you want to try to take it. Nice pylon blocking, though. Ooh, that probe's 2 HP. Very nice little bit of harassment here from eOnzErG to start things off, and saves the drone, and only made 2 Zerglings. Wow, things looking pretty good here for eOnzErG just to start off. Other than that pylon, that's annoying.
Yeah, here I was talking about Dewalt not being the aggressive Protoss, and the first thing he does is sends out his salad. So, yeah, enough talking for me of the rest of the cast.
I mean, this ends up being a pretty good call here. I think maybe had eOnzErG open like the quick 4 lings, maybe the pylon would have been a little bit of a mistake, but as is, this is significantly delaying the third base of eOnzErG. Still though, that is quite a fast layer and likely going to be, that early Spire tech that you were talking about.
Yeah, 2 more cells moving across the map there. Also a third on the way. I think he's spotted. So it's going to be interesting to see. He needs at least 10 Zerglings to hold 3 zealots. And yeah, seems like he's making more here. He recognized the danger and probably just make just enough Zerglings to hold this.
He's got 4 in the main here, going for a surround, even with the drone too. I kind of like this from eOnzErG. Nice pickup on the first zealot, but here comes that third zealot you were talking about. This is where things are going to get tricky here for eOnzErG. And yeah, perfect, retreating there from Dewalt, really optimizing this zealot control here and trading.
Yeah, good micro there from Dewalt, doing the most damage that he can. Especially the Zerglings were kind of... Ooh, he just missed the Spire machine.
Yeah, Dewalt hasn't really been able to confirm much. He did know it was Lair, but does not know that this is Spire or not. He's forced out a lot of Zerglings now from eOnzErG, and as we can see, there's not, no more Zealots on the map here. So eOnzErG unable to really optimize that early drone control versus what he's seen.
Also with the second gas here machine, does this make you think it's going to be a heavier muta play, or is it just get...
I do think this is going to be kind of an heavier muta play. This is kind of a characteristic that you see on Jane Doe for Zerg, mostly in the Zerg versus Terran matchup, but also in ZVP here. Because that in base, in main, like secondary base is located so far behind, Zerg really likes to lean on heavy muta for both matchups, and ZVZ as well, I guess, just because it really will prevent any further pressure from Protoss here. He's gonna have to sit back inside the main, defend with Templar, defend with Archon, defend with Corsair, just to try to not take any significant damage.
Yeah, look at the Spire timing. Like you mentioned, the machine, the Scourge are already out, so this Corsair will do no damage. And since Dewalt didn't really know what he was up against, he was forced to make a second cannon on the ramp because he didn't really know it was up against Hydras as well.
Yeah, very well done there from eOnzErG. Still though, the Scourge is going to confirm exactly what Dewalt's up against here. Ooh, nice retreat to that secondary cannon. eOnzErG using the Scourge to scout around here, seeing the cannon placement, not only in the main, but in that in-base, secondary base. Yeah. From now, I do think this will be a mass muta. We're seeing eOnzErG really bank so much Vespian gas here.
Yeah, and Carapace is already on the way. I was looking at this mineral or his resources, and the only time, as soon as the Spire was done, only a few gases were spent. 4 Scourges, and the rest on the Carapace. So you can see behind this is droning up so heavily, and like you said, he's banking so much gas at this moment.
No Hydra Den, no Evo Chamber yet here. Oh, never mind. Just lied. There is one Evo Chamber, but still, it's fine to just, you know, use the 100 Vespian Gas to at least get that range attack started for like a later transition. You know, it's only a single Muta. But I do expect eOnzErG to start turning on the Muta production here any minute.
This early evolution chamber, do you think is trying to make that Dragon Slayer strategy that he's doing with the +1 carapace super early on the links, that he's going mass mutas and Zerglings?
I do actually. Yeah, I think this is probably just to try to deny the third base of Dewalt, and he might even be able to harass that back inside main that I was talking about earlier. If Dewalt doesn't recognize this and get, you know, an Archon or two here fairly quickly, he'll have a very difficult time securing his own third base.
It needs to be careful though. There's a lot of Corsairs out on the map, and the DT is out, but no support of the Corsairs so far. The Corsairs started. Yeah.
It's only 5, and that is plenty of Scourge to handle this. So I really think eOnzErG can kind of use that Ogre Zerg style here and prevent this third base from really getting up.
Look at this cute micro here from both players. It's only 2 mutas, and he gets the cannon, and a lot of more mutas are being built back home. And like you mentioned, the Dark Archon, it doesn't seem like he's making that. It was only 1 DT. And this is 1 Stargate versus 6 hatch muta play.
Yeah. I mean, eOnzErG just spent so much Vespian Gas. This has to be the Muta pump we were talking about. So I think there's a secondary wave behind this wave of Muta that we can expect here. Very nice connections. Picks up the Templar as well. This is really what we need to see out of eOnzErG.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there with the Scourge connection, but he needs to split this up. A great micro from the Dewalt here, killing every Muta here. Most likely.
Yeah, this is big. Oh, Scourge coming in to try to finish off a couple more of these Corsairs.
Yeah, it seems like
Nice
eOnzErG wanted to debate him a little bit, but yeah, a slight win there from Dewalt, securing his third base again here.
Oh wow, I was way off. This is not going to be continual Muta. eOnzErG already going back into that Hydra tech. They are slow for the moment. I would expect eOnzErG's probably just now starting that Hydra range. But yeah, it looks like Dewalt was able to secure that third base.
Yeah, the little thing here from eOnzErG, he was able to thin out a little bit from the Corsair, and as Dewalt, you don't really want to make more Corsairs than necessary. So a little win there from Dewalt, from eOnzErG, because I think if he can get the rest of the Corsairs as well, he should have an easier way to pick up the High Templars eventually when he needs that.
He absolutely has enough Scourge now to handle the Corsair count of Dewalt here. Dewalt poking out and seeing the Hydra count though, and it's a massive amount of Hydralists on the field here from eOnzErG.
Yeah, 4 High Templars waiting for storming Scourges and himself a little bit there. Can he get?
Yeah, he's diving onto the Templar. Ooh, very close. Nice storms though from Dewalt. eOnzErG trying to focus down the remaining cannons. But yeah, there's just so many Zealots now remaining from Dewalt. This is going to be a tough bust here for Eon.
Yeah, good storm there from Dewalt. Almost busting through eOnzErG. I think he kind of needs to pull back a little bit, maybe take the high ground with the Lurkers and contain Dewalt as long as he can, switch into hive play. But we know eOnzErG, he likes to be super aggressive, pick up units here and there. And Dewalt is looking calm. He knows he only needs to defend at this moment.
Yeah, he's happy to just kind of hold position, all of his Zealots. He's got a couple cannons. Dragoon count is climbing. Not many Templar, thanks to the Templar pickoffs from the Mutas and from the Hydras here early on, but I'm sure Dewalt's going to rectify that.
Yeah, also I'm counting like 10 gates here, so this is going to be a massive production from Dewalt on 3 bases. You can see it's already cutting probes. He's only relying on making a lot of units right now.
Looks like a little bit of counter damage potential here from Dewalt with these 4 Corsairs. Likely just trying to disrupt eOnzErG's attention for a move out of his zone.
I was going to say, there was a lot of Overlords with this army, so we might potentially see a drop here, but we see now the eOnzErG special spreading out his Overlords, so he will have that map awareness that we know he likes. And yeah, seems Scourges are already...
Yeah, he's very diligent about continually producing those Scourge. That is not an easy thing to do. I mean, that being said, he's on 4 gas. Look at that gas bank from eOnzErG. Very impressive.
Yeah, I was just looking at the same. I was thinking we didn't see any lurkers. When I saw the money being spent, I assumed it was going to be more mutas, but this is a ton of lurkers machine.
If he can hold this, high ground ramp, it really puts Dewalt in kind of a rough situation here. And look, the lurker timing is just perfect from eOnzErG here. This should be difficult for Dewalt to break.
Yeah, not that many storms here, but look at the supply machine. Dewalt is nearly maxed out at 13 minutes here.
Yeah, why am I not surprised? Man, his macro is just insane. Ooh, nice flanking group of Zealots. I did not see this move out, but I mean, that's 12 Zealots here from Dewalt. That's going to be very, very difficult to stop here for eOnzErG.
Yeah, we was just giving praise to eOnzErG, the map awareness, when even with all the Overlords out on the map, even we as the casters missed those 12 Zealots. And that's how sneaky Dewalt is.
Yeah, he's relentless, man. If you leave any openings, you have any holes, like, he's going to find a way to exploit them.
Yeah, he has a window here. It's not that easy for eOnzErG to hold this army there. It's a little bit tight area here. So, unless he can prevent Dewalt getting up on this high ground, I think this should be fine for eOnzErG, because this is at his rally point, so he will have the defender's advantage.
Very nice dodging so far from eOnzErG. Like you said, though, no lurkers quite back in position to defend the natural or the 4th base. So this is going to look a little scary here for eOnzErG.
Yes, a lot of Dragoons, and we can also saw Dewalt, he was holding back, and this is some clumped up lurkers here.
Yeah, man, very unfortunate. You never really want to be caught with your lurkers unburrowed, but unfortunately, eOnzErG was forced to be in a position to move those. And now Dewalt is controlling the high ground outside of eOnzErG's natural.
Yeah, it's nearly double in supply here, and it's only like half of Dewalt's army sitting on this ledge here. And yeah, only like a few lurkers tin here. Like you said, you don't want to get caught in the middle of the map replacing your lurkers. Ooh.
Oh no. Yeah, now it looks like this 4th base is going to be exposed. Still no lurkers remaining. eOnzErG scrambling to put down some creep colonies here to try to get some static defense at this location. Good dodging though.
Yeah, not a lot of area here for Dewalt to run up with these Dragoons, but a lot of Zealots coming up from behind here, and Dewalt, eOnzErG doing a great job dodging these storms, like you mentioned.
Looks like there are lurkers in production now from eOnzErG, but really he's just scrambling to try to defend his own 4th base. Meanwhile, Dewalt taking a 4th and a 5th simultaneously. Oh wow, that 4th base is already complete even.
Yeah, they will soon be on the same amount of bases, where the back expansion and the main will be mined out for Dewalt pretty soon. While as the ZZZerg, he will still have some minerals here, but this is a big engagement here from Dewalt.
Ooh, huge storm going down on a big bulk of Hydra there. Still, the lurker count's very good. eOnzErG also engaging from the high ground, but man, the storms are perfect from Dewalt.
Yeah, this is just too much Protoss here, I think. Even with the great macro that eOnzErG is displaying, it's just too much blue Dragoons here.
Yeah, Dewalt is, I mean, just such a monster. He's got impeccable macro. It seemed like no matter what, because he was just constantly pressuring from, multiple angles, eOnzErG was always just slightly a step behind with his unit movement.
Yeah, I think eOnzErG is just collecting his thoughts here. This was his pick map of choice, but I think it's a hard matchup, CVP this year. Usually when
Yeah.
the Protoss gets that third base that quickly, you can see how much that powers the Protoss.
Yeah, very true. GG is called there from eOnzErG. Dewalt taking game number 1.
Yeah, eOnzErG taking a little sip of his brown water there, recollecting his thoughts, getting ready for the game number 2. Yeah, but he looked sharp, Machine. He looked sharp. I did like more of what I was seeing from eOnzErG today than I did yesterday against Bonnet, to be honest.
I really like that strategy to take such a quick second gas, inside that back main base. I mean, he definitely had air superiority, did some nice, delaying of Dewalt's third base or, the forward natural position. But yeah, once really the game kind of got rolling, Dewalt's, I mean, he's just constant, just very good movement. His macros, I mean, just perfect. It just always seems like he has so many more units than his opponents. Very well done there from Dewalt.
Yeah, when we saw all that gas being spent from eOnzErG and we saw all those lurkers being made, Dewalt kind of found that window that he needed to sneak out those units. And because there's 2 ramps eOnzErG needs to hold, and he was only holding on for the first one. And with those few seconds, Dewalt was already out on the map, using the illegal backdoor, if I can put it in that way.
Yeah, with just 12 zealots too, and it honestly looked like eOnzErG was in the more dominant position. There were so many lurkers, so many hydras, all on that high ground positioning. It's just so difficult for Protoss in that position normally, but Dewalt just finds a way.
Yeah, I think we need to call out more of Dewalt's play. Like, he was super aggressive with his early Zealot, but eOnzErG dealt with it so nicely with just a few Zerglings and a drone. So Dewalt doesn't strike me as a player that goes Dragoon Reavers that much.
No, yeah, I've seen him do it before. If he opens, what do you call it, like against a 973, he'll do it. But that's